In Newcastle in 1988, Jean is a PE teacher at a secondary school. On her way to work, she hears a news broadcast about the proposed Section 28 legislation but switches it off. At school, she is reserved and closeted and lies to her coworkers to avoid socializing with them after work. She regularly visits a gay bar with her friends and girlfriend Viv. While Viv is at Jean's flat, Jean tries to watch Blind Date, while Viv refuses, declaring it anti-gay propaganda. Jean's sister arrives unannounced and asks her to look after her son Sam. Jean hides Viv's presence from her sister, and downplays their relationship with Sam, which angers Viv. A new student, Lois, arrives at school. Later, Jean and Lois recognize each other in the gay bar but do not exchange words or acknowledge the meeting later. Lois is suddenly interested in netball and joins Jean's netball team, where she clashes with another student, Siobhan. Lois also spends more time at the bar and befriends Jean's friendship group. Jean confronts her and tells her to stay away, warning her that she could lose her job at the school if she is outed. Viv sees Jean and Lois exiting the toilets and leaves in anger, firstly believing that Jean is cheating on her. Jean confesses to Viv how she knows Lois, and Viv responds by telling Jean that she is setting a poor example for her students. Jean visits her sister for Sunday lunch, where she sees a photograph of her from her wedding day. She asks her sister to take a photograph, and her sister reveals that she knows that Jean is a lesbian. Jean's boss Paula finds a copy of a lesbian magazine on Jean's desk, left by somebody else. Jean assumes that Lois is responsible. Siobhan provokes Lois after a game of netball, and the two students fight. After Jean breaks the fight up, Siobhan kisses Lois in the shower, which Jean sees, but Siobhan claims that Lois assaulted her. Despite knowing this to be a lie, Jean goes along with it, and Lois is suspended. Jean apologizes to Viv but says they cannot get back together. She also tries to make amends to Lois but is uninterested in talking to Jean. At a children's birthday party, Jean comes out to her brother-in-law and a friend, before bursting out in laughter as she leaves. She convinces Lois to accompany her to a house party, where Jean's friends share in the Bog Fund, a cooperative fund for lesbians in the city. A friend of Jean's tells Lois that the lesbians with real jobs like Jean contribute to the fund. Later that night, Viv and Jean talk on friendly terms but don't reconcile. The next day, Jean arrives at school with a smile on her face.